Welcome to Behind the Curtain IMO. I'm Betsy Jordan. I've been thinking about women. This weekend there's going to be a meeting of the Women's Leadership Forum, which was founded by Hillary Clinton. I'll be missing that meeting, but I'm certainly thinking about it. So much of the underbelly of what's happening in these races, we used to say that there was a 10% unknown factor in the U.S. Senate race in North Carolina. Jesse Helms, the Helms factor, which was a 10% undercurrent of racism. So it would never go to the Democratic Party because that was the party that was going to pay more attention to people of color. It still is, by the way. At least that results show that it is the party that is more interested in being the party of the people. And when I think about breaking that down in terms of gender, I'm going to talk about the pink elephant in the room. There was an undercurrent in the campaign in the last presidential campaign, certainly in the Clinton versus Trump campaign in 2016, of misogyny, and it was blatant. And you may recall the minute that Kamala was the candidate, Trump tried to pull that again. And I understand that more and more women are listening to the disrespect that's coming out of the mouths of babes, boys and men particularly, and sometimes out of women's mouths. It's become more noticeable, and that's a good thing. People are more transparent about what their beliefs are. But women are mysterious. I mean, our babies are born through our vessels. And listen, I'd be the first to tell you that my body was a mystery to me. When I had my daughter, I was like, wow, all these changes that we have come to expect because we can read books like What to Expect While You're Expecting, right? And OBGYN doctors know what to anticipate. But when it happens to you and when it happens and you're with your partner, it is just a miraculous thing to see your body sort of morph into that. And if you've watched animals, kind of mysterious, even to ourselves. So there's a part of this that I've never understood why people were so threatened by the power of a woman. And there'll be some things I will never quite understand about why people are threatened by women. I think there's something about us trusting our instincts a bit more, trusting, and these are generalities, I know, but trusting that the world will be a friendlier place. And that's not true for all women, but there seems to be a more acceptance of gray areas. And I've heard that one of the reasons for that is because women tend to be more global thinkers. Again, generalities, but there seems to be science that connects with that we have connectors between right and left sides of our brain that men do not have, and that we have fewer connectors going from front to back, and men have more that way, which, if you're going to talk about extremes in male and female energy, male energy is more driven, like you want them to be the warriors, run faster, that kind of thing, tend to be stronger. And you want women to be the nesters, to build the nest and, gestate the baby. So there's masculine and feminine energies in the world and also in between us. But there's something about the wounded masculine that has come out in our politics. And then I've seen the wounded feminine in the same way. So the wounded feminine comes out as more belligerent masculine, and the masculine comes out as more toxic masculinity. And so there's no healing when you're trying to talk to each other from your wounded place. So the healing, it seems to me, that needs to happen in America is for us to understand that the healing of our country comes from each individual being determined to understand each other, to appreciate our differences, to celebrate our similarities, and to be able to recognize that there's value in having women and men making the great big decisions. It's time for the United States to embrace a female president. It is time for that president to be a person of color. Again, once was not enough. And when we recognize that this country and its demographics are more center-left, but our politics and our laws are still kind of stuck in a patriarchal past. And the patriarchy's, people say down with the patriarchy. A patriarchal system is not in and of itself wrong. It's what we attribute to it, right? And so the wounded feminine might come at it and go, the patriarchy, down with the patriarchy. We don't want toxic masculinity. Well, we don't. Neither do we want wounded femininity. We don't want either one of those not running our country, right? So when we see a candidate in Harris who is bringing laughter and a lightheartedness and a brilliant intelligence and an ability to connect globally and hold two dissimilar truths in her head at the same time, like she can support our allies and also support aid to Gaza. She can do both of those things. Now, I am hearing that people who are saying, we're for Palestinians and, it's not the lesser of two evils to vote for Kamala. No, it isn't the lesser of two evils. It is the most optimistic, most forward-thinking, most progressive thing you can do for our country to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And then we celebrate our healed masculine and our healed feminine at the top of the ticket and in leadership in our country. And then we remain the beacon to so much of the rest of the world that we found ourselves to be. This is Behind the Curtain IMO. Thank you for being here.